qualifying campaign, how the planet's smallest footballing nations began their bid to reach the 2010 World Cup. Hosts hopes why South Africa's players are looking for a big improvement under their new coach. As FIFA prepare to announce the host of the 2014 World Cup, we take a look at the favourites, Brazil. And we speak to one of the fastest men on the planet, the world and Olympic 400-metre champion. Welcome to Sportsworld, Al Jazeera's regular look at sport around the globe. I'm Louise Potter. We'll start with football, and in less than 3 years' time, Africa will be hosting its first World Cup. On November the 23rd, the draw for the qualifying groups will be made, yet for some smaller nations, qualifying has already begun. Some sides will have to play and win 18 matches to book their places at South Africa 2010. Palestine is one of those teams, and Sportsworld's Rahul Pathak went to meet them.
There might be over 900 days to go before the start of the World Cup finals in South Africa, but for teams like Palestine and Singapore, World Cup 2010 begins now. This is the first leg of the first round of Asian World Cup qualifiers. In total, more than 43 teams from the region will be trying to make it to the finals in South Africa, but few will face as many obstacles as Palestine. One of the few teams in world football who have to have their names on a team sheet checked off against their passports before a match.
Some players have names and some of them don't.
This jersey.
Welcome to the world of Palestinian football, where the team has to play its home games over 1,000 miles away in Qatar because of the security situation. Players from Gaza are often barred from leaving the territory by the Israeli government. All in all, it makes for less than ideal preparation for any match, let alone a World Cup qualifier.
We're taking one game at a time. I know all the guys are coming in late. You know, nobody's really played together that much, and it's just game by game. We really can't say we want to win everything. It's just the team getting put together right now. And we've got a lot of high ambitions to win it, but, you know, it's going to take some time.
Central defender Omar Jaroun, whose father is Palestinian, was playing for American side the Atlanta Silverbacks when he got the call to play for the team. He's just one of many overseas-based players in the side, making it a real United Nations in the dressing room, even though it's rather confusing on the pitch.
We had guys come in this morning, so every time these guys are coming in, we're putting stuff together the day before the game, and, you know, language barrier is a problem, you know, for a lot of us, and I don't know, we're just kind of all trying to put it together, hopefully come together for one team.
That lack of preparation certainly showed as Palestine lost the first leg 4-0.
This result we weren't expecting at all. We started well, but our biggest problem was our physical fitness and that we didn't have enough time to prepare for the game. They were a lot faster and quicker than us and were in better shape. Also, a lot of our professional players couldn't make it to the match because of the difficulties the Palestinian team have in terms of travel.
So what of their opponent Singapore? Well, their aims are slightly different. Having never reached the finals of a World Cup, this qualifying campaign gives them the chance to come up against the top teams in the draw, like Qatar, Kuwait and the United Arab Emirates.
Obviously, I know we're playing like big nations like Qatar, like Kuwait and all. So we're happy to, like, if we qualify for the round robin, then that'll be good enough for us.
Trying to qualify for World Cup is something special. Every game you win in that competition is something special. Our really main target is to go to that third round, and you never know. You never know. First, it's important to go there.
Do you think that the way that the qualification is set up for Asian teams, do you think it's particularly fair or not?
I don't think it's fair.
Why is that?
I don't think it's fair for a Southeast Asian country because they need to play 2 games, knockout system, and others they have direct qualify for third round. Some even miss second round as well. I don't think it's that fair. Because if Brazil play qualification, England, Italy, everyone, why others here don't play?
Well, the Al Rayyan Stadium in Qatar is certainly a long way away from the World Cup finals in South Africa. In fact, if Palestine or Singapore want to get there, they've got to get through another 17 matches as well as this one. But as they say, World Cup dreams got to start somewhere. Rahul Pathak, Al Jazeera, Doha.
The only team who will definitely be at the 2010 World Cup are the hosts, South Africa, yet their recent form has certainly not been worthy of gracing the world's greatest tournament. Bafana didn't score a single goal in the 2006 African Cup of Nations, but now they've got a new coach, Brazilian Carlos Alberto Pereira, who guided his home nation to World Cup victory in 1994. And hopes are high he can give the South African fans something to cheer about.
The countdown to the 2010 World Cup is well and truly on. It is evident that this is a country gearing up for the world's biggest sporting event. A FIFA delegation has been, inspected, given a thumbs up and gone again. Nobody now appears to be sweating on the decision to give the tournament to Africa. But what about the South Africa team? What would happen if the hosts failed to deliver on the pitch? Would it leave the first World Cup in Africa deflated?
We have a long way till 2010. We do have another 2 African Cups of Nations. We have the Confederations Cup 2009. That's why I believe the building process is step by step.
A look at the stats make unpleasant reading for the hosts. 5 years ago, South Africa was rated in FIFA's top 30. They're now in the 70s. That's below Iraq, Cuba and Equatorial Guinea. They failed to reach the last World Cup and only just squeaked into next year's Africa Cup of Nations. So are the players worried of letting down their supporters?
I think the pressure comes with the territory of being hosts. Locals always expect the team to do well, whether it be we playing Brazil, whether it be playing Italy. For any fan, that's what they expect of their team, is just to win. So that's being the World Cup, it's added pressure, yeah.
With so much focus on getting the country ready for the tournament, the question remains, has that focus on stadiums and infrastructure been a distraction for those in charge of producing a decent host team?
As a team, I think, soccer-wise, I think we'll have to be ready. The World Cup is the biggest stage in the world. As for logistics and construction, engineering things, matters go. And I think we'll be ready for the World Cup.
South Africa at least now has a man in charge that has been there and won it. Former Brazil coach Carlos Alberto Pereira took over officially in January this year, and he's already brought about a marked improvement in performance, losing just 2 out of 10 matches.
You only learn if you play strong opposition. I believe that. I'm not worried about the results, although we know results for coaches and teams are very important, but we have to think about the big picture. Not now. The big picture is the World Cup itself.
Pereira's appointment was not done with a focus on the Africa Cup of Nations, but on the World Cup. It is clear his bosses want to give him time, but will that time be squeezed if his side fail to perform?
I think he's a good coach, and he's got a lot to offer the country with his knowledge and all the different ideas that he has.
There is still time for South Africa to deliver a successful World Cup both on and off the pitch. But if the country is to reach the knockout stages of the competition and even become World Cup contenders, then rapid development over the next year will need to be made. Dan Williams, Al Jazeera, Johannesburg.
As ever, you can keep up to date with all the latest sports news on our website, aljazeera.net/English. Stay with Sportsworld, because coming up, we take a look at the nation favoured to host football's 2014 World Cup. And we speak to one of the fastest men on the planet, the world and Olympic 400-metre champion.